Hello and welcome to Comic Book Talk. I'm your host, Andre, and I'm joined with the Lunchbox crew. To my right, I have Uspa. To my left, I have Michelle. And far left is Jermaine. Today, we are going to talk about the Netflix series, The Umbrella Academy, which, if you don't know, was a comic book written, I think, in 2012 by Jared Way and Gabriel Ba. Pretty cool comic book. I remember reading it when it came out. And Netflix brought it to a season of 10 episodes. So we're going to dive in and talk about that show. So my first question to my esteemed panel is, do you know the source material? Are you familiar with the comic Umbrella Academy? And I'm going to start with Jermaine.
Didn't read it.
Did you know it was a comic first, though?
Yes, I did. I love Gerard Way from his My Chemical Romance days, and then I love Gabriel Ba from Day Tripper. Good stuff.
So you love them, but not enough to.
Yeah, not enough. Apparently not enough. Yeah, I don't have enough time. Don't shame me.
All
Please
right,
don't hate
all
me.
right. Uspa, what about you?
Umbrella. Resident Evil? Qua?
You've owned an umbrella. Great. Amazing.
Are we going to
That's as
do
far as
Rihanna's
we've got.
umbrella? Is that what you confused it with? Yeah, no? Okay.
No.
And
No.
Michelle.
No, I have not read the source material. I was not aware of it.
Okay, so this is going to be a very interesting conversation as I'm the only person who is familiar with the source material.
Typical.
But I guess that's one of the perks of being a super comic book nerd, and that is me. So let's get right into the nitty-gritty. There might be some spoilers ahead. We're going to talk about whether we like the show or not. I'm going to start with Uspa. Well, that's all we're going to get from him for now. And Jermaine.
I would say like and That's like
You're doing that now?
yeah, like
Okay.
I don't know. I can only voice my opinion in grunts and like pleasant sighs.
Okay, so yeah, this is a new language for us here on the Lunchbox, and if you speak it, you understand it.
Yeah.
But
We'll
maybe
put
we'll
subtitles.
maybe
Yeah,
we'll pull out
subtitles.
some more information from Michelle. How did you feel about the show?
I loved it.
Whoa,
I watched
words,
it.
words.
Right, I can word. I
Coherence.
watched the entire season twice already, and I'm gonna watch it again. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Wow, she watched it twice. That is over 20 hours of watching the Umbrella Academy. Whereas
Hasn't
for
been out for
me,
that long.
I only got about 6 episodes in. So for me, I totally didn't enjoy it, but apparently Michelle enjoyed it for the both of us, and then some. So okay, I'm gonna start with Michelle because she really obviously dug the show. What did you like about it?
I think if I had to pick, I honestly liked so many different things, but
Let's hear them.
the biggest thing I liked is I liked the character development. Not saying I liked every character, because there were definitely some that I think you're supposed to hate, and I definitely did. But I thought they did a really, really good job of developing the characters over time through the kind of flashbacks to when they were younger and then when they're older. And that was huge for me. There were some characters that I really identified with, I really thought were interesting, and I kind of watched the show for them specifically. And then overall, the rest of the show. The music was phenomenal, and I don't think most people would disagree with that. It was pretty well done, well-placed music, which for me, that is also kind of important. Like, it's just, I could jam out to it. I really enjoyed it. It kind of set the mood. And then anything with superpowers, I find you see a lot of the same types of superpowers, and I kind of liked the different ones that I'd never seen before. So without getting too deep into spoilers quite yet, that was something I really liked.
Jermaine.
Sorry, what's the question?
What
What
did
did
you
you like
enjoy?
What did I like
the
about
show?
it?
Yeah.
Honestly, my favorite part is Klaus. Like, I thought he really made the show for me. Like, I kept watching to find out, what was going to happen with him next. Like, I wanted to know about his character because he also had such a unique superpower, and like the way that. We're allowed to say spoilers.
Yeah.
No spoilers yet. I think.
Oh, no
no
spoilers?
spoilers yet?
This just did you enjoy is before the spoiler
Oh,
warning, and then
okay.
spoiler warning.
Okay, yeah, so I really liked Klaus. He was really cool, like a really cool character, really interesting, and that's about it.
So,
Without spoilers, that's as far as we can get.
Yeah.
Uspa.
Uh-huh.
Did you like it? Did you finish watching all
Yes, I
10
did.
episodes?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so it was not like getting your face scratched off by cats
Or your one eye.
or your one eye.
Not really. It felt kind of forced and boring at the times.
Correct. Okay. So, but you did enjoy it.
Parts
I
of it.
just don't enjoy life
In general.
in general.
Okay. But you were able to pass the time with it.
Yes,
All right. Cool. Is there a moment that stuck out for you that you did enjoy?
I enjoyed the soundtrack.
Okay.
How they implemented that. That was pretty awesome.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. For me, did I enjoy it? There was no part of this show that I enjoyed like at all. So we're gonna skip me talking about that because that's it. I am going to dominate what I didn't like about the show. So hopefully you guys grab some popcorn and be ready for that. But let's
Rant
get
incoming.
into. Can we do?
Spoilers.
Okay. Yeah. So spoilers
Spoilers
now,
are
and I'm gonna
spoilers.
ask these guys, to get specific about what they like, because I think the uniqueness of the show, there are moments that you have to be specific about in order for people to really, I guess, understand why you enjoyed it. So, Michelle, I think you're going to probably have the most to say. So let's start with you, and then
Okay.
if you've got some, we'll jump in, or if
Yeah.
they agree on certain things.
So, like I had said, I liked the superpowers. There were some that we've seen before, so we did see kind of like a version of a super strength, or a slightly stronger, I guess I would say, with the character of Luther. He did have that added like monkey element where he got a blood transfusion from a talking monkey, and that was kind of interesting. So he had like ape-like body. So his power is kind of normal, which wasn't like too big for me. The one that I really, really liked was actually, I liked Allison's power. She is number 3, because all the kids are numbered. She was number 3, and her power is that she pretty much makes rumors true. So her power, she says, I heard a rumor, da-da-da-da, and that thing becomes true. So she can like compel people to do things. And I thought that was a really interesting take just with like her daughter, her career, and how she used/didn't use her power for those types of things. And I thought that was just kind of an interesting character development.
Like, how does she-
you realize it's just like mind control though. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a
but
different
just
spin on it, but
the way
it's not.
of doing it
but
where
it's-
you
yeah.
verbally have to
Yeah.
do it in
Yeah.
a very like obvious way, which comes into play later because she does like end up having a showdown with Vanya in which she tries to use her powers. So she says, "I heard a rumor." Then like spoiler, super spoiler, Vanya slits her throat. So she can't physically talk, and then by the end of the show, she cannot speak at all because she has been so slit, and like she doesn't die surprisingly. But that was really interesting because suddenly you have this really pretty powerful character just completely like
Powerless.
useless, honestly.
But again, that's kind of. Oh, I hate to delve in, but we're
This is what
talking. so
I
this is
enjoy.
so no, but I'm just saying, like, if that's your power, if your power is based on verbalizing, why in God's name are you going to be at arm's length to somebody?
Yeah.
Right, and that's kind of like I'll go on
Well,
later, but that's my part.
but
My
you-
problem with the show is that everything was just so like. Surface and not thought out. Like in the first battle, when those two people
When they're in the bank robbery?
No, not the bank robbery. Sorry, when the hunters come into their house.
Cha-Cha and Hazel.
Yes, and she's like, "Are you going to use your power?" She's like, "No, I want to kick her ass."
It's like, why would you do that?
You're getting
Yeah.
your ass kicked.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just? I heard a rumor that you're going to drop your weapons or
I heard a
whatever,
rumor
right?
that you shot
You're gonna
yourself in the
drop
face.
dead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And okay, but anyways, yeah, sorry, I jumped in. Let's go back to what else did you
Yeah,
enjoy?
so then, I mean, honestly, going down the list of characters, like Luther didn't like, Diego kind of take it or leave it.
Nah.
Liked Allison, then we get to my boy Klaus, who is the best character in the show, I think.
So good.
The internet agrees. If you look at like hashtag Umbrella Academy
So
on Twitter,
funny.
it's all just like everything Klaus. He had the most character development in the shortest amount of time. He had one really, really awesome scene where he time travels, and we don't really see much of what he does, but he comes back a completely changed character. And that was really interesting. The show did a lot of stuff with time travel, which is always kind of sticky, but I really enjoyed the way they did it and the way it actually affected the characters. So for him, he was just so charming, despite being like a drug addict and an asshole to like his family. He was more understandable. And then his power was being able to communicate with the dead and actually like, I don't know, project the dead eventually, because then they did have their dead brother, Ben, who by the final scene, Klaus is able to project him, and he was the one with like the
Tentacles.
the hentai tentacles as his power,
No.
which was
This is
different.
Cthulhu.
Yeah, Cthulhu. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Flirkin.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, exactly. I honestly thought that anyways. But yeah, so Klaus had a really interesting power, which I haven't seen. I'm sure that exists. I should say, like, I have not seen this type of power before.
You didn't see. I see dead people. I didn't. Project
Yeah, but
dead
I
people,
also astral project dead people. Then they can affect like the living world,
Yeah, I guess
which is
so.
vastly
Have you
different.
seen Stephen King?
I'm not just astral projecting a dead dude. It's a super powered dead dude. Like
Yeah.
it's not just like,
Yeah.
and he uses that power really, really well. Like there's a scene where he gets kidnapped by the bad guys like Hazel
Yep.
and Cha-Cha, and he's able to see all the people they've killed and be able to like kind of relay their stories, which was really interesting.
His power is guilt.
It was good. It
Yeah.
was really,
Guilt
really
trip.
good. Then you, of course, like you have 5, who is just like a time traveler, which is like you've seen that. That's not too crazy. 5. Then was 6. 7, of course, is Vanya, who we don't discover her powers till like the very, very end. And hers is like they try to describe it as like she takes in sound and turns it into physical force, which we've seen is like a telekinesis type of thing. So it wasn't super different, but I just like the way they brought that about because she ended up being the big bad of the show and the person who actually ends the world.
Wow.
Whoa, surprise! But yeah, I love that. And then of course, like Uspa said, the soundtrack was phenomenal. It was really, really catchy. I definitely got a lot of songs stuck in my head, and I thought the songs were well placed to the specific scenes that they were in. Yeah.
Cool.
I could go on forever, so like,
Yeah.
that's enough for me. Someone else say
All right,
something.
Jermaine, did you like other things?
Other than Klaus, we're gonna have to talk characters. I like Mom's character
Yeah.
a lot. I thought she was really interesting because she is a robot, right? Created by Mr. Hargreaves. And the interesting thing about her is that I feel like you can learn a lot about Mr. Hargreaves just by seeing Mom's character. Like, obviously she knows, like she's programmed to feel love, right? And you see that with Diego in that scene where he has a speech impediment and she's, trying to nurture him and like tell him to take it slow. So you can kind of tell that if she's programmed to feel love, then probably Mr. Hargreaves, like he probably knows love as well and loves the children, but
In his own
doesn't-
like messed up way.
Exactly, right? So I thought she was really cool. Klaus was really awesome. That's all I can really say. Everything else is kind of a haze right now. So that's the thing that comes to mind.
To summarize,
Yeah.
soundtrack is awesome. People love seeing other people in drug-induced comas and haze. People love when someone spreads rumors and actually make them true.
I don't like that part though.
And I have a question about number
That's
3.
just
me.
Okay,
Yeah.
I heard a rumor. How far she can take it? Like, does it become a reality or just mind control? Or
I think
I've
it's
heard
a mind
Jimmy has a
control.
big cock. Suddenly his cock becomes big, or
I mean,
No, it's-
at least
it's
the way she used it
basically-
in the show was as a mind control thing, so it was just affecting a person.
What you like. You make it a reality, right? Not physical change, but you induce somebody to do that.
If you had to pick something that you liked and you hated everything, if you had to take a little nugget of something good, what would you say?
A nugget of something good.
I did like the opening scene. It was kind of cool when they showed that the woman got pregnant in the
Yeah.
pool.
Yeah.
I don't know why she spontaneously bled before the kid came out, though. But whatever.
Pregnancy.
Yeah, but so it's all good. But anyways, that was kind of a cool scene. But I guess we're going to segue into the stuff we didn't like, and it'll be very spoiler specific and stuff. But I think that the concept is definitely cool, and I guess that did come across in the episode. But as I'm watching this, I'm trying to be objective, and after 5 episodes in, the characters that we know what their powers are, we know what their powers are. But the characters that we haven't seen their abilities, we have no idea what their powers are. So by I think the 3rd episode, by Luther he's big, right? You don't know what Rumor's power is because she hasn't used or said anything about them, right?
Right.
You know Diego maybe a ninja
You know her
or
power
whatever.
by the, I think, 2nd episode.
But I don't know.
You know it because in the bank sequence,
yeah.
you see
When they're-
everyone's powers. That's the first reveal of everything.
Right,
And she makes
yeah,
her shoot
everybody
the guy.
does that, but then you see them all like over. But if you're not like watching, like the person I was watching it with, I stopped and said, okay, well, let's go over their powers. What are their powers? And other than Luther and the time travel, I really felt that they didn't do a good enough job. We knew
Ben?
No, not Ben. What's the other guy that everybody likes? Klaus. Yeah, we knew that he saw dead people or whatever. But I felt that it wasn't like, it wasn't driven home enough early. And I guess maybe they didn't want to focus on the powers. They wanted to focus on the relationship.
The
And I was hoping that we'd get that, and then you don't, because at the funeral, they all don't really give a shit. Then the brother comes back, and every one of them acts like he left yesterday.
Yeah,
He
like
comes back from
no
the
one
portal.
hugs him.
Nobody hugs him. Nobody goes, bro, where you been? And I'm like, okay, why is he wearing the same get up? Why does he look exactly the same and all that stuff? And I really wanted to like that character, and I understand why he had that garb in the comic. But if you're basically 35, 40 years old and you're stuck in your young body, the last thing you're going to do is wear that, right?
Yeah.
And I understand that, again, they're making it for television. I understand that it's a totally different medium and stuff. But the comic, in a comic, when you do character development, you have to tell it with words and pictures. Right? So you get to establish a lot of different things. But in this show, I think they relied too much on the soundtrack and the score at certain points to carry what the people are feeling. And then I'm like, I don't know if that's adding or taking away from the characters and stuff. Like when they do their whole, what I felt was the dumb dancing thing, I'm like, okay, is this show taking place in the 80s, 90s, 2000s? Okay, that song's in 90 something. They were kids at that point, but what does that mean? And it's like, and they never really delve into that, because I'm like, okay, well, one guy, the big guy, he's the guy with the record player and everybody can hear it around his house. And this is clearly a happy memory for them, yet they never talk in dialogue about it. They never talk about anything at all. And then we've got the scene with Cha-Cha and Hazel when they're kind of drunk and they're burning down the stuff and they play that stupid music.
Funny.
I'm like again, I feel that television and sometimes movies, they're just selling scores. They're just selling music. And it's not substance, because music does move us. Music takes us back to a moment. So they're capitalizing on our emotions that the music is triggering, not what the show is bringing.
Okay.
Right? So I'm like, they're to me, they're cheapening the experience and also the source material. One of the big things that bothered me, and I know it's on a budget too, but Luther, the big guy, he's more in like a suit.
And
then he doesn't look like a monkey. Like, he doesn't have this hair.
He's just like weirdly like
hairy and
the
spread
question:
out.
why was his body apey and his face wasn't?
Because it was a suit. Like, it literally, if you see the original picture, and we'll put one up on the screen for you guys to see at home if you're checking it out and don't know. But they all had this kind of cool original look. So like you were saying, they did have original takes on superhero powers, and the characters did have some unique looks. Diego, I did like that scene with Mum, so I think that was kind of cool. But then why was Diego walking around in his crime fighting gear the whole time? He would have knives there. And I'm like, what the F? Like, seriously? What
They
is
didn't take
going
them
on?
away from him when he was at the police station.
And I'm like, what is, and it just kept bothering me that their attention to detail was just so off-putting. Like, to me, the devil's in the details, and that's gonna make and break it. And if you're focusing on just kind of like plot and subtext, but your plot doesn't fit together, I'm gonna pick apart all day. And because it's on TV and not a comic book panel, I get that ability because you're spending time on shots and stuff like that. So some things that I really think they glazed over and missed, while other things, it almost felt to me that they didn't even try to make sense in the TV show. Case in point, when she meets, when Ellen Page's character meets the Leonard, and basically they're all kind of awkward and stuff like that, and then the family gets in a fight, and after all these years, the only friend she has is this new creepy dude that she met and goes to his house and sleeps over? What the absolute...
She is asking for
stranger danger.
Just crazy. But then what's even worse is her sister shows up at the apartment. The apartment door is open, and the guy's like, "Oh, I was just to drop off her keys, and I had to use the bathroom." How the fuck's she gonna get into her house if you dropped off her keys in her house? And her sister's just like, okay, this is kind of weird, but I'm not gonna kick your ass. Oh, I'll give her the keys then. And the sister's clueless enough to stop that. And I guess maybe the sister is supposed to be clueless, and that's kind of the point. But I'm like, you really couldn't have written a better way for him to, like, you know, do that. And it was just like so many moments like that in the show where they're trying to explain stuff, like when is it Five's in the future explaining what happened and explaining why he has to work for these time police so he can figure out the equations and stuff like that. But the whole reason he does it, to me, didn't have enough merit. Now, that part was really close to the comic book, so I guess the adaptation worked with what they had. But I just really felt that if they had taken a few more moments, maybe a few more read-throughs of what they had in order to get it tighter, then I might have been able to watch it. But basically, I watched, I think, 6 episodes, so I gave the show 6 hours, and it was just like, I don't like any of the characters, I don't like the acting, I think it's poorly written, it's not overly well shot, and I couldn't find any merit, so I'm just like, I can't finish this. Like, I literally, because I'm like, at this point, like, there's just nothing keeping me to it. And while everybody thinks like Klaus is kind of interesting and stuff, like, I don't think that character acting like a person acting like that would have survived the amount of time the way he acts. Somebody would have killed him. He messed up too many drug people. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and it was just.
He didn't though. Like he was just a drug addict.
He was
wasn't
a drug
confrontational.
No, he wasn't
in any
confrontational.
way,
But I'm saying he's all. To me, I got the impression that he was, you know, stealing to get drugs and money. He must
Stealing
have,
from his family.
From his family, but he must have owed somebody money or something. I just felt that his, like, while his character, like, he was probably the best acted, but I just found him the most, like, irritating. You know, of it, just
less than Luther.
Are
you?
Yeah, less than.
Bro's trying to sleep with his sister, and you're more irritated by Klaus. I just want to clarify.
No, that's okay. I did get to that point where they revealed that they obviously had a relationship, but they're not biological. But Luther's just a flat. He's the strong, stupid guy or whatever, went to the moon and whatever. But again, they had no character. Like, I couldn't get into any of the characters, is what I'm saying. And I think that's kind of a problem because I was able to finish and read the first graphic, the first 6 issues when they came out. Mind you, it's a long time ago and stuff like that. And like I said, I know TV's different, but if there was something that could have pulled me along, I think I could have watched. But like just so many of the moments, like the cop getting shot, and like she was so stupid. She went in with no backup and just shot, and then Diego gets there, and then he's got to leave and all this stuff, and it was just so like. Derivative. It was just so just generic, and I, like I said, I couldn't do it, you know.
Uspa, what did you not like?
The Luther, the dum-dum. In the end, you have this Ellen, what's your name?
Ellen Page.
Vanya.
Yeah.
Comrade, Miss Vanya comes back to house, and like she's devastated, and like she's apologizing.
Yeah.
And he just chokes her out.
Yo, you have number 5 telling you there's gonna be the end of the world starts with this house. You dum-dum cannot figure it out. So what do you decide to do? To lock the
As if she wasn't already a ticking time bomb. You're like, let's just put her in there and
she's
it'll
extremely
be fine.
OP.
Yeah, that was awful.
Like, you saw what she did with the Leonardo and number 3. And what you decided to just let me hug you with my ape.
He's lucky he didn't get wrecked in that scene. Like, that's shocking to me.
But that's where it ends, right? Like, if he had just been like a good brother in that moment, because she was like so messed up, so upset. If he had just embraced her and been like,
it's okay,
it's okay,
we'll make it right.
Exactly, it would have been like,
the world's not going to end anymore.
Exactly.
Everything's amazing. Well, I think that was
it's all because of Luther.
part of the problem. I think, like, part of the reasoning, it wasn't just that she like had these powers. It was her lack of being taught, and then her lack of like being included, that made her be so like capable of being like, fuck everyone. Like, I'm going to blow up the world because the people who are supposed to be here for me are not, and the person I thought was here for me is actually manipulating me, since she had no stake anymore.
But that's
so that's
but
when
that's
it's
a
easy
problem.
to like.
That's-
Yeah,
blow
of
up
course,
the
but
world.
that's the problem because Hargrave obviously knew she was the most powerful right at the get-go, and that's why he keeps her segregated, and that's why he's giving her the drugs to kind of
Dampen her
suppress her
powers,
powers
yeah.
instead of saying to somebody, you know, and then also
Exactly.
It's
too.
a Dark Phoenix situation, kind of.
Kind of. And then the other thing, you mentioned the mom character. How is it that at no point did anybody ask, how did those two people kill mom? Because Diego literally opened up her
Yeah,
arm
yeah,
and
exactly.
turned her
How
on.
did they know
How
that?
did they know? And they never check it out. And like, it's just like some of
That
these
was
things,
funny.
I'm just like, wow. Like, and they weren't broken up about it. Like, they were upset. But I'm like, if this was the only person that gave you love and affection as a child, and even if it's a robot,
But also,
you know, like
fuck
it just,
that mom for not protecting them from the dad.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
but it's programmed.
But yeah, she's
She's been
programmed not
programmed
to.
Yeah, but I still like.
literally,
I feel like as a, I don't know. This is like as
So
your
you-
child, you would hope even if your mom is programmed, that she would like make up for the dad. She herself was okay, but she didn't make up for what the dad did. You know what I mean? I feel like that's why it was easier
Yeah.
for them to be
Okay.
like,
I felt like the relationship between the siblings I didn't find believable. Like, everyone is treating Vanya like complete crap, and they have absolutely no reason to. Like, she was never included in anything, and she comes back, and everyone's like, why are you here? Not after what you've done to the family. And all she did was write a book talking about these family secrets, which we never really find out about. And then, like, to be honest, everyone left the family, so everyone has equal fault in it, and everyone's just giving her all the crap. And meanwhile, absolutely nobody asks, like, why didn't we include her more except for Allison?
yeah.
Why did that occur to no one? And like, they all just treat each other like crap, and there's
Like,
no reason for
that's
it.
what I don't get. Okay, you have a fucked up family. Like,
Yeah,
some people do.
Of course.
What you do, you abandon them, and you do not look back. You start
Yeah.
a new life. Your sadistic, misogynist dad dies.
yeah. Why would you go for the
Yeah.
funeral? I guess you'd go to spit on his grave or
Yes.
some angsty
No,
They
shit
yeah.
kind
like
of
that.
just dump the ashes.
Yeah.
ashes
Dump
and
it in the
stuff.
rain.
If you have such a dad, which actually a dictator, because
Yeah.
he came as an adult foreseeing like a prophecy. He foreseed that. He came with this logic to the kids. You know, there's a special mindset, especially in the net. So the parents want their kids to be extraordinary, so they will teach them different languages from young age. So that's what I like. So this logic does not work with kids because basically he did everything right. If you look at the standpoint, like I need to save Earth. He names. So if number 3 dies, no one really paid attention. So it's just a number, no names. So yeah, it's like strategy he was trying to build. But on the other hand, kids wanted some childhood.
Yeah.
And he basically prohibited him to have one. Yeah, if you build a militia force, yeah, that's what you do.
Right.
So easy replaceable, no attachments, nothing. But what they did, what usually happens in these scenarios? You have a common enemy, you unite. That's what teachers do. But that's what generals do. That's what my teacher did.
I'm a teacher. You bet to
That's what
handle
my
some
teacher
teachers.
did. We hated our history teacher. Like, together, we just hated her. That's one of the methods. And when you see this shit, like what they introduced, they don't care about each other. Like, none of them. And Luther and number 3 was so close. And what happened? You left the house. What happened?
So we're going to move on to the next part where we're going to talk about performances in the show. Were there any actors or, people in the show that you really liked or really disliked? What stood out for you? And I'm going to start with Jermaine.
Okay. Well, you guys obviously know me and Michelle love Klaus, so he was really, really excellent. He played that character really well. But I would have to give mad kudos to number 5, because although, yes, his character is a little bit obnoxious, he's also a very young actor. And for him to embody that, like, oh, I'm like this old, tough 50-year-old that's seen some shit, like that persona that well. I thought that was really, really impressive. Did not care for Diego's acting or character much. Yeah, so, and Ellen Page, goodness me. Like, she's an excellent actress. They're really lucky to have gotten her on the show, I think. Because she plays that character really well. Like, she's just dead in the eyes, super emotive. So I thought she was really good, too.
She did it in the games as well. That's like her motto now.
That's her.
She's
That's
only in that-
Ellen
typecast,
Page
yes.
was playing Ellen Page.
Ellen Page
Yeah,
was
yeah,
saying
yeah.
that, yeah.
Like that
Yeah, exactly.
physical awkwardness.
Yeah, but
I feel
Yeah,
like she
even like her
carries
hair
naturally.
was like what she
Okay.
normally looks like.
That's the thing I hated the most about the show.
Yeah, no,
I was
her
getting
hair was-
so mad at her hair. I was
Just like a
so
bun.
heated about it. It was like the granniest bun ever, and I wanted to die.
So, no to the hair bun.
No to the hair bun. Don't do it.
The
Don't do
greasy
it,
hair
Ellen.
bun.
Yeah. All right. Who did you like?
Yeah,
what
and I thought
actor
it was
performance did you
serious
like?
I mean, I obviously Klaus.
Klaus, yes.
The obvious. That's an obvious answer. I liked Mom. Like the actress playing, she was a phenomenal robot, but
Yeah.
like in the most endearing way. Like I felt bad for her when she was just like, "Here, have some eggs," like as a robot. And
Yeah.
like the scene we're introduced to her when she's with little Vanya and Vanya breaks her neck. That scene was phenomenal.
Yeah, that was
I absolutely adored that. I thought she was super good. And then the actor that I didn't like was actually Mary J. Blige. She was Cha-Cha?
Yeah, Cha-Cha.
Or was yeah, Cha-Cha. I did not like her acting at all. The character I had no actual problems with, per se. Like, it wasn't the best character, but there was something about her acting. It was really, she was really trying to be really tough, and like, I wasn't sold on it, honestly. Yeah.
So, Uspa, whose performance did you like?
Number 5, the Mr. Adrian Gallagher.
Yeah.
I just, when kids do a great job, I just cannot, just let pass by. Like, because you see all the shows like the Kim Possible trailer, just
Kim Possible trailer
Kim
just dropped.
Possible.
Oh,
Yeah.
ooh, it hurts.
Yeah, like you see that and you see this. Guy just nailed it. The Mr. Klaus, amazing performance. Like his usual stuff. He's always good.
Well, he's playing the exact same character he played in, what was it, Skin? What was he in?
Misfits.
Misfits. I was gonna say Skins, but Misfits. He's playing the
No,
exact.
not
A lot
really.
of people are saying he's playing the same character.
Not really, because
it's
in
pretty
Misfits,
similar.
he was much more aggressive. He was
He's just
pushing.
too high in this one.
Maybe he's just depressed. Because I kind of like the love story he had. You see the
That was
change,
beautiful.
what a year can do. And what else? What else? The Mr. Dum Dum, the Luther.
The Luther.
Like, I don't think he even belonged
is.
in this.
Sir Tom
No.
Hopper.
Mr. Tom
Half a
Hopper,
lot.
like, it's probably not his fault, but the character was written as a cliche gorilla man. Plus, he was dumb.
He was the worst leader.
Like, you have a
honestly.
you have a muscle like of waxing, shaving. What's your problem? Tan.
He was on the moon for a while, so can't really
Do they
say
have
anymore.
razors on the moon? Like,
They don't have the sun.
yeah, you get a
waxing.
sweet tan on the moon.
With this body, could be Schwarzenegger, the new Terminator. I need your clothes, 2, please. It cannot fit. But still, what else? The number 3. Okay.
Laughman, yeah.
Okay. Number 3, Amy. She was good. I liked what she did with the role, like a little bit of suffering, a little bit of trying to fix things. That's what I liked. Diego, I have knives. I am avenger. I will avenge. I don't know what yet, but I will avenge.
It's kind of dull.
Yeah, dull. Who else? The dad character, yeah, kind of like the daddy. I kind of hated the guy. I think he did a good
I
job.
think
You're
you're supposed
supposed
to. The fact
to.
that we hate
Yeah,
him
like
is a
you
good
just
thing.
and he had like how many? Maybe 4 or 5 minutes overall
Yeah.
of screen
Yeah,
time.
and like all of that was like in the last episode.
Yeah, and you hate the guy, but I kind of get his logic. Like that's a good performance.
The scene between him and Klaus and like the afterlife was really well done, I thought.
And what I loved the most, Ellen Page last scene with the violin and costume change.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was
That was iconic.
Yeah,
It
that
was
was
very
good.
comic book. Like they translated that.
Yeah.
Well, isn't Andre? Correct me if I'm wrong. Her like superhero name or whatever in the comic book is White Violin.
Is White Violin, yeah.
So kind of like a homage to that.
Should have been a lot more homages to the original source material because it was visually stunning. The graphic novel had some very unique costumes and stuff. Like Luther was kind of Mignola-esque. He had the big upper torso but kind of small human feet and stuff. Anyways, yeah, honestly, I think the character designs were very cool for the costume, and they totally missed that with this show. Maybe Klaus's acting was so good because I didn't like it, and I probably wouldn't like a person like that in real life, so maybe that's okay. I will say that Mary J. Blige, you know, I don't think I can say I've seen her in anything, so I was like, oh, I was kind of shocked that she was acting as that kind of part. So like, you know, I didn't think it was, you know, bad, just kind of different to say, oh, she's playing somebody different, but I wouldn't say it's good, and I wouldn't go like, oh my God, I want to see her in more acting like that. But, you know, kind of, I don't want to say it, stick to singing, but she's a way better singer than she is. Was in that. But you know, hey, everybody's going to grow and learn, and maybe she'll find a better part or whatever. But let's move on. We've all talked about what we've liked performance-wise and stuff. So the next big question: does this show or did this show make you want to read the source material?
That's a hard yes.
Yeah.
That is a hard yes. I wanted to read it having watched it so many times. I was like, oh, I'm really, really curious. But honestly, you hating it so much and me loving the show so much means I'm either really missing out on a really great graphic novel or like our opinions are so vastly different that I still need to research it.
But we both really like Mass Effect 3.
Yeah,
so
we like
I
a
think
lot of
I
the
think we've
same
got a lot of
things.
same things, but yeah.
So I'm curious if it will make me like the show more for what the show was as something different because I'm good at I'm good at separating those
Yep.
things. For me, I
I'm
don't
very
have
well
that
not.
problem. Like Harry Potter, I've read all the books. I'm so into the books. Amazing. I'm able to watch the movies as something separate.
Yeah.
So maybe that'll be good for me. I think that would be interesting. Yes, I want to delve.
It was already on my bucket list of comic books to read. I don't know why I didn't read it earlier, but after watching the series, yeah, I'd definitely go back and read it.
Uspa?
yes, I will read.
Perfect. Well, hey, I guess the show has done its job. It's done its duty. Anything that can inspire people to read comics or the source material definitely gets a thumbs up from my book. I think that that's fantastic, and hopefully it had that effect on you. I highly recommend the first trade paperback is available for it. So I'm going to make all these guys read it. That's for sure. And I guess we're going to end off on, would we recommend the series? Uspa, would you recommend to people to watch The Umbrella Academy?
Blank stares.
Yeah,
Yeah?
it's kind of dark show. It has its flaws, but some darker material wouldn't hurt.
All right. And what would you rate it out of 10?
6.8.
6.8. All right. Michelle, would you recommend to people to watch The Umbrella Academy?
Yes.
And you'd
Of
recommend them
course.
to watch it twice?
Maybe. It depends. I watched it the second time to see if I missed anything. Because I wanted to look for like little pieces of information that I might have missed or if we had hints of what was going to happen. That was kind of why I watched it again. I would definitely recommend watching it the first time, but I'd only recommend it to people who like kind of the darker side of superpowers. If you're looking for a Captain Marvel-esque thing, you're not probably going to want to watch this. So
And,
that's what I think.
and what would you rate it out of 10?
Because I watched it twice, I can't say a 10. I honestly can't, even though I watched it twice. I would say like probably a 9.
Okay.
For me, it was really good and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And like, I'll probably watch it a third time, which is really weird. But things that are a 10 for me, I watch like 100 times. So there's a little bit of a difference there.
So Jermaine, would you recommend to people to watch The Umbrella Academy?
I feel like I would recommend people reading the comic book first before they watch the show. I know that sounds a little bit hypocritical because I haven't watched it, but I feel like because I didn't like the show, I feel like I would have enjoyed the comic book because the show for me was just kind of like, I thought it was kind of Marvel-esque and kind of topical. There were some dark and gritty moments, but for me, it was just kind of like kind of fun and games. So yeah, I would recommend it, but it's not a strong recommendation.
And its score out of 10 from you?
6.
6. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, for me, I didn't like it, and I don't know if but I have very unique tastes. So I think it really going to depend on if you like that genre of show, or if you're looking for something different from a superhero show, or if you like 90s music, I guess, right? You're gonna enjoy it. So I guess I would. My recommendation is read the comic book and then watch the show, and I think you'd probably get a better appreciation of it. But I think the concept of the Umbrella Academy deserves to be explored if you're looking for something cool and unique. All right, so that has been a comic book talk with the Lunchbox. We talked Umbrella Academy. Hopefully you will check it out and tell us what you think. Mention if you agree with us or disagree with us in the comments below, and hit us up on all our socials. The Lunchbox crew is, as always, Uspa on my right, Michelle on my left, Jermaine on my far left, and I'm Andre, and that's been Comic Book Talk.